Hey everyone, welcome. If you've ever looked at a video game and thought, man, I wish I could build something like that, but then got totally overwhelmed, well, you are in the perfect place. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on Unreal Engine and build your very first project from scratch, a simple room that you can actually walk around in.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll get our bearings in the editor itself. Then we'll figure out where to get all the cool stuff to build with, our assets. After that, we'll create our first level, put together a simple room, and finally add a little bit of polish before we jump in and test it out. Let's do it.
First things first. Before you can build a house, you gotta know what a hammer and a saw are, right? Same idea here. Let's get comfortable with the main controls and panels you'll be using all the time.
Okay, so at first glance, this might look like a spaceship cockpit, but it's actually pretty simple when you break it down. The viewport, that's your big 3D window. It's where you see your world. The outliner, it's just a simple list of every single thing in that world. The details panel does exactly what it says. It gives you all the details of whatever you've clicked on. And the content drawer and place actors panel, think of those as your toy box and your toolbox. It's where you grab all the new stuff to put into your world.
Okay, shortcuts. Now, don't feel like you have to memorize all of these right now, but a few of them are about to become your best friends. Seriously, the ones you'll use constantly are flying the camera around with right-click plus the WASD keys and duplicating things with Alt plus a drag. Oh, and opening your toy box, the content drawer, with Control plus spacebar. They'll become second nature pretty fast.
Let's talk a little more about that content drawer. You can seriously think of it as the heart of your project. It's basically the file folder for your entire world. Every single model, texture, sound effect, you name it, it lives right here.
All right, so we've got our library, the content drawer. But a library's no good without any books, right? So where do we get all the stuff? The models, the textures, the building blocks. For that, Unreal Engine has this amazing built-in marketplace called Fab.
Fab is basically your one-stop shop for professional quality assets, and it's built right into the engine. And here's the best part, and this is a game changer for beginners. So much of this content is completely free for anyone using Unreal. We're talking detailed rocks, realistic textures, furniture, you name it.
And it's not some complicated process either. It is literally a one-click import. You see a cool chair in the Fab Marketplace? Click, it's in your project. See some realistic grass? Click, it's yours. This is huge because it means you can start creating amazing-looking scenes right away without having to be a professional 3D artist yourself. Okay, we know our way around the editor. We know where to get our building materials. It's time to, well, lay the foundation. We're going to create our canvas, a brand new, totally empty level where our room will come to life. This part is super easy. Just pop open the content drawer, right-click, and make a new level. Choose that empty level option and poof, you'll get a screen that is completely black. Just a void. Don't panic, that's exactly what we want. A true blank slate. So, how do we go from a black void to an actual world? We need to add a few essential things. Think of the directional light as your sun. The sky atmosphere and sky light, well, those create the blue sky and all the nice ambient light. And the player start, this one's super important. It's just a little marker that says, hey, when the game starts, this is where the player should appear. Okay, you have to try this. It's one of the coolest things. Just hold down Control and L and then move your mouse around. You're literally grabbing the sun and dragging it across the sky. You can go from dawn to noon to a beautiful sunset in seconds. It's an awesome way to instantly change the entire mood of your scene.
All right, we have a sky, we have a sun, we have ground to stand on. Now, for the really fun part, let's actually build something. We're going to construct our room, and we'll start with the most basic shapes you can imagine. First things first, we need a floor. The easiest way to do this is to just switch over to landscape mode and click Create. Boom, you've got a huge flat plane to build on. This is going to serve as both the ground outside and the floor inside our room. Now for the walls, we're just going to switch back to selection mode, find the basic cube shape, and drag it into our world. That's it. You can hit R on your keyboard to get the scale tool, make it taller, longer, thinner, and then hit W to move it into place. And just like that, you've made your first wall.
Hey, remember that shortcut I said would be your best friend? Here it is. Instead of making a whole new wall from scratch, just hold down the Alt key and drag the wall you already made. It'll create a perfect copy instantly. You can build all 4 walls for your room in like 10 seconds using this trick.
So, how do we make a door? Well, instead of trying to cut a complicated hole in our wall, we're going to do something much easier. We'll just build a door frame using these simple, pre-made pieces. You can just arrange the corners and edges, and you've got a really clean-looking entrance.
Okay, think about this. Once we put a roof on our room, what's going to happen? Our sun, that big directional light in the sky, can't shine inside anymore, right? So it's going to be pitch black. To fix that, we just need to add our own lights inside. Spotlights work great for this. Just drag a few in and point them down.
And there we have it. A room. Seriously, take a second. That's a huge step. We've built a structure. Now, let's add a few finishing touches to the world around it, and then, the best part, we'll actually go for a walk inside.
To make the outside look a little less like a flat plane, we can use the foliage tool. And this thing is, well, it's basically magic. You can pick an asset, like some grass we grabbed from Fab, and then you just paint it onto the ground. You can paint patches of grass, flowers, even rocks. It's an incredibly powerful and fun way to add detail.
Okay, here's a quick but super important tip: snapping. With snapping on, things click into place on a grid, which is perfect for architecture to make sure your walls line up just right. But when you turn it off, you can move things freely. This is what you want for placing things more organically, like a rock or a plant. You'll be switching between these two modes all the time. All right, this is it. The moment of truth. You see that big play button at the top? When you hit that, you're no longer the builder, you're the player. You'll drop right into the world at that player start marker we placed. You can walk around with WSAD, look with your mouse, you can walk right up to your building and go inside. This is where it all pays off.
So, let's just pause and think about what just happened. You started with literally nothing, a black screen, and now you have a world with a sky, a sun, and a structure that you can actually walk into and explore. You've learned the core loop of how to create something in Unreal Engine. You're officially a world builder.
And honestly, this is just scratching the surface. Everything you learned today, navigating the editor, adding objects, shaping them, lighting a scene, these are the fundamental building blocks for creating anything you can imagine. A castle, a spaceship, a whole city. It all starts with these same skills. So, the only question left is, what are you going to build next?